I'm Nathaniel Jackson, the chair of the committee. We have our chairman, John Roberts. We have Director Lawrence. We have Commissioner Stan Norton. We have Commissioner Kramer. And we have Commissioner Jim Galvin, my understanding. I don't know who else we may have on as part of this committee, but with that said and done, I'm going to turn it over to Maria Bush at this point.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm just going to read a statement of necessity into the record. It's required by statute. So this is a scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission Legal Committee, which is taking place by electronic means utilizing the WebEx teleconference application on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Notice that this meeting was properly posted to the board's website. As there is not a physical quorum present, a statement of necessity is read to the record and filed with the Tennessee Secretary of State. Pursuant to TCA 8-44-08B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of the governing body, then in order for the quorum of members to participate in electronic or other means of communication, the governing body must make a determination about necessity. And that determination must include a recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it is based. Further, PCA 8-44108A3 defines necessity as matters considered by the governing body at that meeting require time and action by the body. This by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. The purpose of this meeting with members attending by teleconference is to address the regularly scheduled matters of the legal committee. All voting will be conducted by roll call. Thank you.
Hey, everybody, if I could just jump in. If we could all put ourselves on mute when we're not talking, I think that'll help out with the sound quality, make it a little bit easier to hear.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess Commissioner Jackson now. Now we're going to start the legal report. I'm going to ask any of the committee members, do they have any question about any of the reports at this point?
Commissioner Norton, I've got a few things, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
If I can start with number 26. Notice of violation was issued against respondent for an advertising violation. The advertisement state does not include sales tax, license, or processing fees. Under the rules, processing fees must be included in the advertised price. Okay, the recommendation is to authorize a civil penalty of $250 for advertising violation. I'm actually very happy to see this as a civil penalty in one of our listed cases. However, I'd like to follow up and clarify a few things regarding this this violation. Let me first by reading our mission statement, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, our mission statement, the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission is committed to the uniform and impartial application of the Tennessee manufacturer licensing rules and regulations. These regulations are intended to empower consumers while allowing all dealers to compete for business on a level playing field. The Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission shall not waver from this mission. Okay. It's a very good mission statement. When I first came on to the commission 5 years ago, I read it, I memorized it, understood it, and which brings us to this case of this matter of the civil penalty for advertising violation. I think probably the biggest issue that I think we have as a dealer, as a commission, is creating that level playing field because of this non-compliance issue. Myself as a dealer, I'm compliant. I've been examined, followed up as compliant. As a dealer on a level playing field, it's an unfair disadvantage to be compliant. Just to give you an example, this advertising violation is $250. Last year, our dealership sold approximately 6,500 vehicles. And of course, it is a statute. We are allowed to have a processing fee. Ours just happens to be $495. Well, for me to include that price, that processing fee, the price, I have to absorb that. So I can't pass that along to the customer. So that's $3.2 million I've absorbed in the market. And of course, I understand in discussions with the staff and other fellow dealers that we have an issue with the amount of people we have to enforce this advertising violation, which is, by the way, deceptive advertising to the consumer. So it does two things here. It deceives the consumer, which we're not empowering, and we're not creating a level playing field. So I want to make this a record today to discuss that I applaud the staff for issuing a civil penalty for $250 for this violation. I would like to ask the staff for follow-up information on this civil penalty, and certainly disclose what are the schedule of fines that are associated with this penalty going forward. Because obviously, if a dealer who's very prudent could look at this and say, I would gladly pay $250 to not have to absorb $3.2 million. It's an easy observation. We've danced around this issue for years. The dealer body trade associations have. It's just never been dealt with I think what should be dealt with to coincide with the Motor Vehicle Commission's mission statement. And this legal review, I think it's part of our responsibility to understand this and uphold the law, which was put in place some, I guess, 30 years ago. But anyway, my hat's off to the staff for this violation. But I just want to go on a record saying I think as a commission, it's our duty to uphold this and continue to enforce it to the extent of what the civil penalties are, and that should be investigated and discussed further to determine if it's enough.
Thank you,
Commissioner Calvin. Can I make a comment on that?
Sure, go ahead.
I agree with Commissioner Norton said, but my recommendation on this is it should be just a warning, not a penalty. Until we get all dealers on board, until all dealers get fined, it shouldn't just be one dealer gets the $250 fine. I mean, a lot of dealers are not going by this rule or this violation, and they're still adding it after the processing fee. So I think just because if one dealer is going to do it, then everybody should get fined. I think it should just be a warning. That's my recommendation.
Well, I noticed that that dealer doesn't have any history of any violation since he's been in business. So, and normally that's what we have done in the past. But especially when you have a dealer have no history of any violation in the last 5 years, so he's been a dealer since for the last 5 years. So, I kind of concur with the recommendation of the staff. I really think we ought to keep it at $250, and we just got to go forward, whether you got a history or not. I mean, if it's advertising violation, we have to be consistent with Commissioner Norton was saying earlier, and I do commend the staff in this issue myself. So I think my recommendation would be to stick with the staff recommendation. Anyone else? Disagree? Agree?
Commissioner Norton, just to follow up, I do agree with the penalty. I mean, it's something has to be done. I mean, the $250 doesn't seem like a lot to me, and it's the law. My question would be, what would be the second penalty? And I guess I need to understand. The staff would have to explain to me what is the level of penalties upon a follow up. And I mean, is there? I would ask the staff, is there a follow up on this dealer? I know me as I was issued a warning, which is fine. I mean, I should have been compliant. I wasn't, but I became compliant. And there was a follow up meeting, and I was told it was per occurrence. I mean, I'd hate to think what that would have been, a pretty substantial fine. But I guess probably even in my position, I should know what the penalties are, but I don't. So another reason why we should probably make this issue more prevalent or obvious to the dealers, because it does, in fact, impact the playing field for all dealers involved. It just does. So, I mean, there's no, I mean, I'm adamant about this, about doing something to uphold the law and hold up our mission statement of what we're supposed to be doing. So
okay. I tend to agree with you, but I think there should be a letter to go out to all used car dealers, whatever, and tell them this is what we're going to do. I mean, if you do not have this in place, we're going to start fining you. Then make that, put that on record, and then If they don't comply by the rules, then we'll fine them. Because right now, a lot of dealers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing on this situation.
And commissioners, this is Stuart Huffman. I'd like to say something. This was my case, and I guess probably about a year ago, or maybe less than that, we had a lot of dealers that were violating the advertising laws, and we sent out a penalty of $250 for each time that they did that. And so I was trying to be consistent with what we did about 6 months to a year ago. Also, what we're trying to do is come up with a consistent agreed violation schedule, which shows, for your first offense would be this amount, second offense, certain amount. And we're working on that right now to actually present to the commission, I believe in October.
I thought we had this, Commissioner Jackson. I thought we had a schedule of violation based on the offense and the amount. We did that some time ago. I don't have it. Okay.
We do. We're just revising it. We're wanting to kind of revise and then add. So it didn't include everything that's out there.
Okay. Great. Does anyone have any comments on this number 26? Look like Commissioner Cullen is in agreement with the staff, or look like Commissioner Galvin is in a disagreement. Is there anyone else on this committee?
This is Chairman Roberts. I think, Commissioner Jackson, that we need to, we've got to start at some point fining. And I think that you might as well start now. And I think it's a good decision. And I'll go with you guys on that.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner, is there, can I ask, was there a complaint here, or was it caught because he disclosed that he included his processing fee? Was it just the advertising itself that said does not include tax, title, license, and or processing fee, or was it did somebody complain about this?
I believe it was a complaint, but I'd have to go back and look.
Because I mean that's obvious. That's an obvious violation right there. But you can't disclose your way out of a processing fee, can you?
Stuart, it looks like it was a notice of violation, so it must have been an inspection.
All right, it was an inspection. Sorry about that. Notice of violation.
Okay. Any more comments?
This is Erica. I just want to make one comment. I believe that there are more advertising violations throughout the legal report that may not have the same recommendation. It may have a letter of warning if it's their first advertising violation. So my thought is we may just want to consider making it consistent throughout this report one way or the other.
So you're saying that if you got some other violation that's similar to this violation, and it's their first time, if it's a letter of warning, that it needs to be changed to a fine of $250. That's what you're saying.
Right. Yes. I know I'm not for sure, but based on my memory, we usually have more than one, and I would have only went with a letter of warning based on what we did in the past. But I'm fine changing it. I just think consistency might be a thought we want to.
I agree with you, Counsel.
Hey, Commissioner Jackson, this is Commissioner Norton again. Can we just stay on this for a minute? I'm sorry to rant. I do that from time to time, but so for the staff, the question will be: is the lack of compliance and enforcement due to funding for investigators? What is the challenge for the staff that we make it help that, because obviously it's obviously a lot of money involved in this. Stuart, anybody?
Well, I think it's more of, we rely on our inspectors to go out and then they see the advertising, but we don't have somebody that just sits around and looks at all the advertising. And with our volume of complaints, I think it's kind of difficult to, I guess, patrol the internet and the advertising. So I think Denise, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I actually do. I'm sorry. I don't mean to chime in unwarranted, but I wanted to let everyone know, actually, this is an issue that we have found to be more and more prevalent. And back in January, Jason and I and Chairman Roberts got our heads together, and we actually came up with an idea which involves elevating Mr. Gillum to take on some additional duties. And frankly, we are waiting on Commerce and Insurance to pull the trigger on that. That is not to say, I mean, Jason does the best that he can do, but he does have specific duties now that don't allow him to spend as much time on advertising. So we're working on it. That's not a good answer, but it's the best one that I have right now.
Can I offer a suggestion, which was mentioned to me in a previous meeting or conversation, that upon inspection for renewal license was the time to inspect. That's how we were inspected at one of our locations. So there's approximately 3,700 dealers. My recommendation to staff would be that upon those investigations for that to be looked at on each dealer and something systematic implemented for follow-up. I mean, obviously I was given a warning on an inspection, and subsequently 6 months later there was a follow-up. So it was textbook, and it worked very well. But I don't hear that in the community. Matter of fact, our other dealership was one of our other locations was inspected. Everything was fine, but they did not inspect anything on the processing fee. So my recommendation would be, if you have 3,700 dealers, you can cycle through those, a good many of them, in 2 years, because that's when they come up for inspection. So, and I understand it's a daunting task. You don't have to sit and look at websites, but just upon that inspection for the renewal of the license would be a good time to do that, and be something that's followed up as a result of that. If they're compliant, it's a great job. If they're not compliant, then they go to another follow-up schedule.
And we can absolutely meet with our investigators and inspectors and try to make this a priority going forward. There was one other item. I will also mention that I have a note here that, and I'm not sure if it was Commissioner Galvin or Commissioner Norton, I think it's a really good idea that maybe we can come up with a letter that we send out to all our dealers and say, we are absolutely going to be looking at this going forward. So please make sure that you are compliant. And Jason reminded me that we already do have advertising review when they do inspections. Maybe we can just stress to them that they need to be doing it a little more diligently.
Commissioner Galvin, I totally agree with that. Until you have something in writing and a dealer looks at it in front of them, reads it, and they know what the violation is, then you can start penalizing them. But for coming in right now and looking at it and reviewing their processes, I think it's the first deal should just be a warning. And then if it happens again, then we fine them. There's too many dealers out there right now are so confused about this, and they're either upset, confused, or they're just over it. And like Stan said, it's costing a lot of money. But until we tackle this thing, because this is a big item, it really is. I mean, until everybody gets on the same playing field, we've got to have something in writing. And then once we do that, then the inspectors can go out, look at any violations, and then we start fining them. I mean, that's the only way you can get this thing done. It's just too big of a chunk, and it's a lot of revenue lost by dealers, in my opinion.
This Commissioner Jackson, I think if we go back and research the record, and I've been here a long time, I think we've sent a letter out to the dealers some years back about the advertisement. And if I don't know if someone could research that to make sure, but I do recall, because we had this conversation some years back about this advertising in the first offense and the second offense. And I think we did, I think the commissioner did send out a letter to all the dealers about advertisement some years ago. But
there's a lot of new dealers that just came on board that have no idea about this. And I don't know how long ago it went out, but it needs to be updated and resubmitted.
Well, and staff will absolutely take care of that.
Okay. So now we're at the point where it's on number 26. I heard General Counsel Smith says she will look at the entire document and see where we got advertisement in there. And they would change that if we approve what we're talking about now. They would change everyone that's in this document to a $250 fine, whether that's a first time or the second time on advertising. Did I get that correct, General Counsel Smith?
Well, I would say just for the first time, we would change it from a letter of warning to a $250 civil penalty. If it's the second time, they would be penalized on this report. I don't think we have any of those though on this time around.
Okay. So at this point, this Commissioner Jackson, Chairman Roberts is supportive of the staff. I'm supportive of the staff, and Commissioner Norton is supportive of the staff. I didn't hear from Commissioner Kramer. Are you supportive of number 26 as read by the staff?
Yes.
Okay. So that being said, that means that number 26 will stay as is, and we can move forward with any other comments that we may have about this report on any other.
Can we sort of do this officially? Commissioner Jackson, if you will just say, I think I had a motion and a second. The motion by Commissioner Jackson, second by Commissioner Norton, to make the advertising violations consistent throughout the report so that they read $250. And if you'll announce a roll call, I'll take that vote.
Okay. I just stated what's
Okay.
Director Lawrence just stated. So let's call for a roll call vote.
Okay, this is a roll call vote
26.
on number 26, which will be applied throughout the legal report on violations for advertising violations to be consistent at $250 each. Commissioner Levy
Yes.
votes aye. I'm sorry, I'm trying to go down the list. Chairman Jackson
Yes.
votes aye. Commissioner Norton
Yes.
votes aye. Commissioner Galvin
No.
votes no. Chairman Roberts
Aye.
votes aye. Did I leave anyone out? Oh, Commissioner Kramer
Yes.
votes aye. Is that everyone?
It's John Barker. I voted aye.
Commissioner Barker, I apologize, votes aye. And so Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes, 1 nay.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, moving along. Any more question about the report on any other item?
Yes, I have, I guess, a question on 72.
72.
Yes, as the facts are not clear to me as presented in this report. Are we talking about an auto auction or a public auto auction? If an auto auction, we're dealing with a wholesale transaction, a dealer to dealer. One or both, I expect, for Tennessee licensees as well as the licensed respondent. If a public auto auction, the complainant is an individual who bought his car to be auctioned to the public by the respondent.
So this is my case. This is Erica, and so the respondent is an auction.
Okay. What kind? Is it auto or public?
It's well, I just know it's a motor vehicle auction. Let me pull up the file. I'm reading through it. Just bear with me.
Okay.
Okay, so was your question whether the respondent is an auction that sells to the public?
Public or to just dealer to dealer? Is it wholesale dealer to dealer, or is it
No, this is
public where
public.
individuals can go?
No, they were selling to the public, and in this case, a consumer bought the car from the auction and had an issue with it right away.
Okay. Well, next thing is in this report, I see this wording of competent jurisdiction, circuit, or chancery. One thing, Eric, I would have to say is, in my mind, one thing is clear: the Motor Vehicle Commission has jurisdiction. It is a question of whether to exercise it or not. It is our duty to protect our citizens, and it's also our duty to see that our laws, rules, and regulations are fairly and uniformly and impartially applied to all licensees. I think the full commission may want to hear the facts prior to deciding what action to take on this case, including whether to authorize to close this complaint. Every situation that comes before us can have a contractual component. That fact alone should not be determinative of whether the Motor Vehicle Commission hears or considers a case. The Motor Vehicle Commission has jurisdiction and is the proper venue. We are the administrative agency tasked with regulating the motor vehicle industry in Tennessee and protecting its citizens. Our decisions, as we know, are appropriate, are appealable to the Chancery Court. So we know that people can appeal it, but I think the question is whether or not we hear it. We want to hear it, but I think it has to come to us to decide that. And then if somebody wants to appeal a decision we have, they have that option.
Yeah, I think I used poor wording, and I apologize. I won't do that again. I didn't mean for that to come across as I didn't think the Motor Vehicle Commission should hear this complaint.
Sure.
I more meant that you should hear the complaint, but the issue at hand doesn't seem like it could be a violation of the Motor Vehicle Commission statutes and rules.
Okay.
Does that make more? Does that explain it a little bit better, or make any more sense?
Thank you.
I will not use that wording again.
You're breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
I will make sure not to use that wording again, and I apologize for that.
Okay. All right. Back again, Commissioner Jackson, any more comments on the report? Do we have any more?
Commissioner Galvin, you got a couple of them.
Okay.
I'll start with the very first one. Number one. I'm just curious where this business doesn't maintain the regular business hours, phone numbers, failure, fail to maintain an active county business license. My question is, does this dealer want to stay in business, or should we figure out how to get rid of him? Because to me, he doesn't want to stick around.
Well, I just know these violations were found during the inspection, and these were the issues noted on the inspection sheet. So we can add a follow-up on top of whatever civil penalty is decided on, or whatever kind of discipline is decided on, but there hasn't been a follow-up as of yet. So I just know this was the issue at the time of inspection. I assume that they have fixed the issue, but if you want it to be known whether they have in a certain amount of time, plus a civil penalty, we can do that.
I would definitely recommend a follow-up for sure.
That's number one, this Commissioner Jackson. That's number one, right?
That is
Yes.
correct. My other one is on number 10. And I'm just wondering if we should make a fine for this driver driving around a dealer plate for over a year, and he just gets away with a little pat on his back. I mean, I think there should be more to that. And I'll just open up the floor to see what you guys think.
So if the dealer, Commissioner Norton, as the dealership is closed, it would fall on the responsibility of the dealer.
It's closed according to the report. This Commissioner Jackson, according to the report, it is closed.
This is Stuart Huffman.
Somebody number 10, correct?
That is correct.
It's the dealer's responsibility to maintain control of his tags.
Right. It's the dealer's responsibility, and that dealership was closed.
And he's out of business.
Right. And that dealer plate was confiscated.
Yeah.
Okay. And they got it closed and flagged. The staff got it closed and flagged also. Commissioner Gavin, are you? I mean, they didn't fine them. They just closed and flagged.
They just close it.
And flagged it.
Okay. I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
On 24. I don't know who handled that case. Can you really explain more in detail? Because I think there should be a fine on this after reading it 3 or 4 times.
And that was Stu. This Commissioner Jackson. That was General Counsel Huffman.
Yeah, I'm going through this. Is there a specific question?
Well, it's all about the money, and they counted it multiple times in front of the respondent, and he said that he was shorthanded. And come to find out, start putting all this other stuff on here. I'm just wondering just how accurate all this really came out to be. Is it a he, she, say deal or what?
Yeah, I mean, it really sounded like the customer was at fault. That kind of a sly deal. The way that the complaint and also what we researched sounded like the customers were just scammed the dealer. I mean, dealer's kind of out of the money, but it wasn't really, he wasn't in violation or anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine a little bit.
Other comments on that case, number 24? Okay, moving on. Any other comments on any other?
This is Chairman Roberts. I just want to ask, it's just a question. I'm not questioning the recommendation. I just want to know what a XYLON fee is.
Yeah.
I've never come across that.
Is that in number 24?
It's in 21.
21, okay.
I'm sorry, were you still on 24?
No, we finished now.
We're done with that one.
You just called it number.
Yeah, it was 21.
Okay, so 21 is mine. Maybe I wonder if I typed that wrong. Let me pull that up.
It says the advertisement also stated that XYLON and destination fees were added to the price.
Let
It
me
may
see.
deal with headlights.
I'm going to go with typo.
Yeah, I'm looking because now I really want to know it.
Hey, I'm not upset about it. I just want to know what it was.
That's that English teacher coming out.
It may be a fee like someone mentioned a moment ago about the headlights or something. Who knows? But we can go on past it. But
Yeah, I'm going to keep looking. I'm looking at it because I would like to answer. Oh, okay, I found it. So on the notice of violation, because this was found during inspection, the inspector wrote on their report that the reason they cited them for false, misleading, or deceptive advertising is because the advertisement the inspector was looking at had in the disclosure at the bottom of the page that Xylon and destination were added to the advertised price. So I didn't, it says that Xylon is a coating added to each vehicle.
okay,
Okay.
it's like a paint sealer, probably.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, that's good enough. Sounds all right. Then I have also a question on 22. It looks like there's an issue with. Looks like to me someone is either both parties are in cahoots, possibly. I don't know, but it's like the customer wanted to pay less sales tax, so they build the car out for $500, and they wanted to save the sales tax, and then the dealership may have wanted to save the money and stick it in their pocket. I don't know. Maybe
that's exactly how I feel. I don't know. That's how I feel. It was very much a he said, she said, with no evidence either way, except for the actual bill of sale that says 500.
Okay. Well, it sounds like to me that's what's in the deal, but I can't tell you for sure. But maybe we should just refer this one to the Department of Revenue.
Okay, I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Is everyone in this Commissioner Jackson, is everyone agree with number 22 deferred to the Department of Revenue?
Commissioner Norton agrees.
Commissioner Galvin agrees.
Commissioner Kramer agrees.
Okay. Thank you. Director Lawrence, was we supposed to vote on that, or it's?
I apologize. I was falling down on the job. Y'all were way ahead of me. Yes, let's vote on that one. So a motion was made by Chairman Roberts
Second.
to refer that to the Department of Revenue. And I'm sorry, who was the second?
I'll second it, Commissioner Jackson.
Commissioner Jackson. Okay, and now we will call the roll on whether to refer item number 22 on the legal report to the Department of Revenue. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker? I'm sorry, Commissioner Levy voted aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Yes.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes. No nays.
Motion passed. Any other comments? Any other concern about the report on any other item?
Commissioner Norton, I need just a question for clarification on item number 34. Penalty was issued for payoff for trade-ins. It wasn't mentioned. I just want to make sure to clarify, was the fine was 30 days, was it done from the time of the transaction or from the date the deal was funded? Because it wasn't clarified.
And this was mine. I'm just going to review it really quick before I answer. Okay, can you repeat the question again, please?
They were penalized for failing to pay off 2 separate trade-ins within 30 days. It didn't clarify if the 30 days were from the day of the transaction or from the date the day was funded, because my interpretation of the law is basically they have 30 days from the day is funded to pay a vehicle off.
I'm going to have to look deeper into that because I want to say it's from the date of the transaction is what I wrote it. So
that would be worth investigating because I think that is incorrect. And I just remember because it was not mentioned in the narrative.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up now.
Okay.
Commissioner Jackson, Director Lawrence, should we vote on that also?
Just to clarify, let's go ahead and vote on it. And the motion was made by Commissioner Roberts to delete item number 34 or remove it from the legal report pending further investigation. And so the motion was made by Commissioner Norton, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. And now I will take the roll on whether or not to remove item number 34 pending additional investigation. And Commissioner Levy.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker. Commissioner Galvin.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer.
Yes.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes.
Motion passed. Any other comments on any other item?
Yes.
On the
This
report?
Commissioner Norton, I hate to keep going, but I'm glad we were granted an hour for this because we've needed it, obviously. Case number 55. Correction. Comment on 55, just for staff's knowledge, being aware of I'm on the NID Legislative Committee. There's a 10-year exemption for odometer disclosure. That just has been changed. I don't have the law in front of me. That's just for FYI. It's going to be graduated, I believe, up to 15 years. It's worth noting to look at that. But I mean, there's been a lot of conversation. I was involved in that for 2 years. So that law is changing, but I'm not aware that it's posted at this point. But item 55, just a comment there.
Okay.
All right.
And the staff need to look at, see if it's 10 years or 15 years.
It's changing, and it's a graduating. In other words, it'll extend 1 year up until the cap for the exclusion.
Okay.
That was a lot of work going behind that one, a lot of research. All right, item number 95. I did not see a document or request for a document related to the statutory conditional delivery agreement, which would be if I'm an investigator or observing this file. That's something that was not mentioned. So my question in this one is recommended to close. If there was not a statutory conditional delivery agreement, this dealer is in violation. So that's a question of the council.
And can you repeat the question again? Was
a statutory conditional delivery agreement present in this deal file?
I know that we didn't do an investigation on this, so I doubt that I have the deal file, but I'm going to make sure. And if we don't, we can take it off. And
that's fine. It's just an observation from doing this a long time. That would have been my first request because it was also around the vehicle coming back, brought back, not want to be brought back, clothes in the car, those types of things. But that's the first thing I request.
Okay.
Just comment.
A statutory conditional delivery agreement?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And I've got a few more, but I'm going to skip down to one which it's number 129 in the represents.
Oh, I have an answer for you, Commissioner Norton. On that. On the one you just asked about.
Okay.
Actually, we do have a conditional delivery agreement in the file.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
But I learned something there. So does that need to change at all, or do we leave it?
No. It's just that's an important document. It is statutory for that be in the deal file, and it just wasn't mentioned, and it's relevant to the case. So,
okay. Yes, I will definitely. I've learned that now, and going forward, now I know.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, but on to case number 129, the represent. The recommendation based on the violation was $3,500 civil penalty for failure to produce business records and possessing open titles. And the respondent came back with new information and basically placed the blame of his documents on a record service, an adjoining business.
He told me they weren't his at all.
They weren't his at all. So we fined him for something that wasn't his.
I mean, I based it on the inspection report. I didn't think to ask if if it wasn't the respondent's, and I didn't find out until the respondent got the consent order, because when there's a notice of violation, our process is a little different, and we don't ask for a response from the respondent because it is, we have the face value of the notice of violation from our inspector. So the respondent doesn't have a chance to present their side of the story, except for while they're there in front of the inspector. And the respondent told me he tried to explain it, and for whatever reason, it wasn't put on the inspection sheet. So I just didn't know all of the facts, until after he got all of the facts that we knew. And so we talked on the phone, and I believed them. So that's why I'm adding that new information and presenting it to you.
So the record service was maintaining these titles that were open. Is that what you're saying?
That's what the respondent said.
Well, I mean, nevertheless, somebody's in possession of open titles. And I found it very odd that we would reduce the penalty for something as an obvious open title situation, which begs to ask the question: why was the record driver in possession of all these open titles? I mean, is he a licensed dealer?
Well, that's what I thought maybe the commission members, as you know, members of the industry could maybe talk to me about that. If it sounds very fishy, we can look into it further. It really is kind of doesn't make sense to me.
I'm gonna make a motion to reject a new recommendation from the staff and further investigation, because there obviously was a smoking gun in the room, which would be 18 open titles. Or how many open? 6 open titles, whatever. Yeah, 6 open titles. So somebody owns those open titles at that location. So I would be remiss to think that I would have to take someone's word over the fact that they were not mine. That wasn't my gun.
Right. Well, I'll send somebody out there again, and we'll get this worked out.
Commissioner Galvin, it says respondent.
If you want to just leave it as it is, I mean, it's up to you.
It said the respondent dealer shares an office with the record service, and these titles were in the recorder's possession. I mean,
you're supposed to keep your own records. But I think this Commissioner Jackson, I think what Commissioner Norton has recommended is a great idea. Defer it back for further investigation and bring it back at the next meeting. Director Lawrence, do we need to vote on that again?
We do, and I apologize, I was muted briefly. So the recommendation is to reject the recommendation on item number 129, further investigate to determine who actually is in possession of the open titles and if indeed that person is a dealer or what the circumstances are.
Correct.
We need a second on that.
We got a second. I'm sorry. The motion was made by Commissioner Norton. Second was made by Commissioner Jackson, and I will call the roll. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker? Commissioner Galvin?
yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Yes.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes.
Motion passed. Okay. Moving right along. Any other comments or questions about any other item?
This is Chairman Roberts. Just one more. 98, case number 98. It's where they didn't have, I guess, 9 unlicensed salespeople. I'm sure they probably didn't have any licensed salespeople. It sounds like.
That's correct.
So $4,500 civil penalty. I mean, it's probably a good deal for them. Could have been on a per deal basis, but I think we need to add monitoring status on that one.
So, and can you just expand on that a little bit?
Well, just basically because if someone is going to do that much and be that flagrant in the abuse of not getting salesman's license, I think we need to follow up to make sure that they're doing it in the future.
So we can authorize. Would you agree that you would still want to authorize the civil penalty and do a follow up in 30 days? Do one follow up in 30 days, and if they have all of their people licensed, we can close this matter out.
Yes.
Okay. So we will. So I will add. They'll be authorized a $4,500 civil penalty and follow up within 30 days.
Very good.
Okay.
Commissioner Galvin, I second the motion.
Okay, so we'll do this officially. The motion was made by Chairman Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Galvin, to accept the recommendation of legal to authorize a $4,500 civil penalty for item number 98 and to follow up within 30 days to ensure compliance. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Votes aye, Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Votes aye, Commissioner Kramer.
Yes.
Votes aye, Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes.
Motion passed. Any other comments on any other item on the report?
Commissioner, I'd just like to make a comment. This is my 5th year to do the legal review, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve on this committee and to do this. And I thought this was a very good report. There's just a few observations. There are learning points we all can learn from, but my hat's off to the staff for the hard work you put doing this. It's a lot of work, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman.
Would you also, Hugh? There'll be no more comments about the report. Director Lawrence, do we need a motion to adopt all of the recommendation, or we leave?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've got one more question.
Okay.
Okay. To clear up 72, that was the auction. Is there anything that we need to talk about when we start the actual board meeting, or did we talk through what we needed to talk through on that one?
Let me see what.
That was the auction where I used the jurisdiction, the competent jurisdiction wording.
I think after this is Commissioner Norton. What I reflect from that was the fact that if the consumer is involved, it does fall under the commission's scope. And I think to Chairman Roberts' point, if it was between 2 wholesale dealers, it falls under auction rules. Is that correct, Commissioner Roberts?
No,
No.
it still falls under us, I believe.
For wholesale to wholesale?
Yes.
Okay.
I just meant, is there anything we want to mention when the whole board is meeting about 72? Did I need to talk about it in any way to clear it up?
If you want to put my comments in there, or my, whatever you want to say about that, I'm fine with it, as long as we have it in the record.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion on the legal report with all recommendations?
Commissioner Jackson, make that motion.
Second, Commissioner Galvin.
Okay, Commissioner Levy.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer.
Yes.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes, no nays.
Motion passed. That concludes our legal report for the 14th day of July 2020. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Have a second of the motion?
Yes, Commissioner Norton.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that, Director Lawrence, or we just can call for the question? All those in favor of the motion? All those in favor of the motion by adjourning the legal report, say aye.
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 Aye. Mr. Jackson, I understand that we're supposed to vote on everything on WebEx.
Okay, you're right. All right, call the roll call for closing the legal report out. Director Lawrence.
Okay, and I apologize. The motion to adjourn was made by Chairman Roberts and seconded by Commissioner Galvin.
Norton, I think.
2 of us did it at the same time. It doesn't matter.
Okay. This motion is to adjourn the legal committee. Commissioner Levy
Yes.
votes aye. Commissioner Galvin
Yes.
votes aye. Commissioner Norton
Yes.
votes aye. Commissioner Jackson votes aye. Commissioner Kramer
Yes.
votes aye. And Chairman Roberts
Aye.
votes aye. It's unanimous. Mr. Chairman Jackson, you have 6 ayes, no nays, to adjourn the legal committee.
The legal report is adjourned.
Well, we will join back up at 9:30.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Barker. Sorry I jumped in there out of habit and voted. I apologize. Sorry about that.
No, not a problem.
Everyone remember to mute your phone.
Executive Director Lawrence. Denise, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Trying to unmute myself.
That's all right. Are we ready to get started?
I think we are ready to get started, and I will call the roll.
Okay.
Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Galvin. Commissioner Lee is present. Commissioner Galvin
Here.
is present. Commissioner West
Here.
is present. Commissioner Fox
Here.
is present. Commissioner Kramer. Commissioner Jackson
Here.
is present. Commissioner Melton. Commissioner Melton. Commissioner Murray. Commissioner Norton
Here.
is present. Commissioner Vaughn
Here.
is present. Commissioner Levy.
Here.
Commissioner White
Here.
is present. Commissioner Evans
Here.
is present. Commissioner Barker Commissioner Chobanian
Here.
is present. I want to go back for just a minute. Is Commissioner Barker present?
Yes, he is.
Commissioner Barker is present. Commissioner Murray or Commissioner Melton? And Chairman Roberts.
Well, I'm present. I've seen Commissioner Melton on here. She's obviously muted.
Perfect. Then, Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. We have 15 members present, 1 absent.
Okay. Meeting notice went out.
Yes, sir. And I will read the notice if you will be so kind. This meeting's date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission website, including as part of this year's meeting calendar since October 22nd, 2019. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission's website since July 9th, 2020. This meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website.
Okay. Do we need to vote?
Yes, sir. We need to adopt the agenda.
Okay.
So
Do we have a
moved.
motion?
Commissioner Vaughn.
I'm sorry if I can have a motion to adopt the agenda.
Commissioner Jackson
moved,
motion to
Commissioner
adopt the
Vaughn.
agenda.
Motioned by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Vaughn. And I apologize to everyone. I'm gonna be doing this a little bit more so that everyone that is with us and that views this later has a clearer idea of what we're doing. And I will call the roll on adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner White?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Chobanian?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Barker? Commissioner Barker? Commissioner Fox?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes.
Okay. Do we want to go ahead and hear, is Maria Bush wanting to address us at this time?
Yes,
Before we
thank
do
you.
the
I didn't
minutes.
want to interrupt anyone, but I just wanted to read the statement of necessity into the record really quick. So this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission taking place by electronic means utilizing the WebEx teleconference application on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Notice of this meeting was posted to the board's website on July 9th, 2020. Because there is not a physical quorum present, this statement is read to the record and filed with the Secretary of State as required by statute. PCA 844-108 states that if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, then in order for a quorum of members to participate by electronic or other means of communication, the governing body must make a determination that a necessity exists. That determination must include a recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based. PCA 844-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body. That physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communications is necessary. The purpose of this meeting with members attending by teleconference is to address regularly scheduled matters of the board, and we are meeting electronically to help reduce the risk of the COVID virus, and all voting today will be conducted by roll call. Thank you.
All right. Everyone got their minutes in the package by PDF. And what's your pleasure on the minutes?
Get a motion to adopt the minutes. Commissioner Norton.
Commissioner Barker, second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. And this is the motion to adopt the minutes made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Barker. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye. Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner White?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Chobanian?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Fox? Commissioner Fox?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. I also see here that we don't have any salesperson or dealer appeals for today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, we can move right on to your report.
I included the director's report in the information that you should have received electronically. Just a couple of notes. We are doing extremely well, especially since we're operating virtually entirely remotely. And I just want to put in a couple of plugs for our staff. As you know, I mean, you all know that the staff runs this place and makes it as successful as it is. And specifically, we've had a couple of people go on vacation. We haven't had one single hiccup. Got people pinch hitting and doing their jobs. Obviously, Jason, as always, makes things run smoothly. We had more applications, I believe, for salesmen in June of this year than we'd ever had before. So this business is doing really well, and the Motor Vehicle Commission, I am pleased to say, is staying on top of it. And during this horrible time, we have good news to report.
Are you going to read any of the data, or you want to just us to adopt it?
I think it speaks for itself. Our metrics are incredibly high. We have a 98% approval rating. We're turning around licenses in less than a day. I mean, I won't bore you with all of the minutia, but Obviously, everyone is doing their job and doing it well here.
Very good. Do we have a motion to accept the director's report?
Commissioner Lee,
Commissioner Vaughn.
Commissioner
second.
Chobanian seconded.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the director's report made by Commissioner Lee, seconded by Commissioners Vaughn and Chobanian. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner White?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Chobanian?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Fox?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Next is the legal report, Assistant General Counsels Erica Smith and Stuart Hilton.
Thank you. This is Erica. I am just going to read off the changes to the legal report. In number 1, we are adding to the recommendation on top of the $1,000 civil penalty. We are doing a follow-up in 30 days to make sure that all of those violations have been corrected. Number 21, we're changing the recommendation from $500 civil penalty to $750 civil penalty because the advertising violation, to be consistent with the rest of this legal report, we need to have a $250 civil penalty included for that advertising violation. So that makes it a total of $750. Number 22, we are closing it and referring it to Department of Revenue. Number 34, you'll see there are 2 complaints included in number 34. We are removing those from the report completely to do further investigation, and those will be presented to you at the next board meeting. Number 98, let's see, I'm sorry, let me get to it here. Number 98, we're keeping the $4,500 civil penalty and adding a follow-up in 30 days to make sure that everybody is licensed. And number 129 in the represents, 129 is also being removed from the report for further investigation, and that will be represented to you at the next board meeting. And then I also just wanted to make a comment about number 72 on the record. I used some poor wording in this summary, and I just wanted to clear that up, that the Commission does have competent jurisdiction to hear this complaint. It was just counsel's opinion that the issue at hand was not an issue that was a violation of any of our rules or statutes. It would be something the complainant would need to take to civil court in counsel's opinion, but nothing else is changing about that complaint. And that is everything I have on the legal report.
Commissioner Jackson, I think we missed 55, and Commissioner Norton brought it up. And was the staff supposed to look at that, Commissioner Norton, on number 55 dealing with the odometer?
You know, it's just a comment, but it's worth noting for the law to post. It just hasn't posted yet.
Okay.
So 55. We had mentioned, Commissioner Norton had mentioned, or Chairman Norton had mentioned that the law is changing from 10 years to 15 years.
Correct.
But I don't think that would change this
recommendation
because they didn't use a disclosure form either way.
It's just a comment.
Right.
Commissioner Galvin, you mentioned number 21 was the advertising violation. Wasn't that number 26?
Yes, 26.
Well, I just changed 21 because that was the only one I found that needed to be changed because we had discussed keeping everything consistent.
Well, we started, this Commissioner Jackson, we started off with number 26 where the discussion started.
That's what.
But I don't think 26 changed. We're
Okay.
still keeping that with the $250. And then I changed 21 to make it consistent with 26.
Great. Commissioner Jackson, I motion that we adopt the legal report with the correction.
Mr. Norton, second.
Okay, this is Executive Director Lawrence, and the motion by Chairman Jackson is that we adopt the legal report with changes. That was seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner White?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Chobanian?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Fox?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 15 ayes on the motion to adopt the legal report with changes.
Oh, very good. Erica, one thing I want to point out, when you referred to 72 a moment ago, I just want to make sure and reiterate, my point is the Motor Vehicle Commission has jurisdiction when you were talking about that, and whether we want to exercise or not is a decision for our commission. And that's all I've got to say on that.
Thank you.
And legislative updates. Assistant General Counsel Maria Bush.
Good morning, Chairman. Thank you. At this time, there are no legislative updates that I have to report to you all. Just the statement of necessity of the writing for the record was the only thing I have. So thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, may I add one quick thing?
Okay.
Not really specifically a legislative update, but we had discussed a couple of things that we wanted to change just to make our rules consistent and modernize everything. But I wanted to let everyone know that the Commissioner of Commerce and Insurance has determined not to include any new proposals from regulatory boards for the legislature to consider. So we won't be changing anything.
So if there's no changes, we don't need to have any votes, so we can move on. Committee reports, audit, there's no report. Rules, no report. And is there any new business? Any old business? If not, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt for a quick second? I think you may have had some new business you wanted to discuss relative to the makeup of the commission.
Oh, is that appropriate at this time to announce it?
I think so, yes, sir.
Okay, the 4 commission members that were up for renewal got renewed, and you can call their names out.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Galvin, Commissioner Vaughn, Commissioner, I'm sorry, I was caught off guard because that's Commissioner Fox, and somebody shout out because I've completely drawn a blank.
Norton.
Norton. Oh my gosh, Stan Norton.
Don't forget him.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to announce the member who's left us.
Oh, you're talking about Steve Tomaso?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Tomaso resigned. And anyway, he moved on from Nissan and retired. So he felt appropriate to resign. And so we are waiting to get another industry member. Anything else?
I believe that's all I have.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Commissioner Norton.
Commissioner Galvin.
Second, Commissioner Evans.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Norton, seconded by Commissioner Galvin and others. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner White?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Melton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Chobanian?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Fox?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 14 ayes. We stand adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Be safe, everybody. See you guys.